Greetings everyone, we are here. It is going to be a very nice game number 2 in a series of the semifinals of the CASL Canadian StarCraft League. Very great, very enjoyable league to be a part of, as I'm going to go ahead and cast game number 2 of Noctis, the Protoss player in the bottom left, going up against Everize, the Terran in the top right. The map is Zelnaga Cavern, so it is a very stable, very normal, and well played and practiced map. That is the really most important thing I want to emphasize for this early part of the cast, is the fact that this map has been played so much. Every player knows its ins and outs very well. Briefly, what that is actually going to be the fact that you have a natural expansion that is actually very easy to take and defend, and the fact that you can just defend the chokes. The problem is the fact there's also a back door with line of sight blockers behind it. This can be utilized very effectively. You can always block it off, though, as Protoss and Terran, with pylons, supply depots, gateways, engineering bays, whatever your choice. I've actually even seen Terran players build a command center back here and then float it down to this third base as a double, using the fact that it scouts for units running along this path, as well as builds a command center next to the base that you actually want to utilize. So Everize is actually going to go ahead and start building this barracks while actually trying to throw away this probe that has done a fair bit of damage to this SCV that will start building this refinery. So it looks like Noctis is doing a great job of harassing with his probe and not taking any hits, playing ring around the barracks with this SCV. It looks like it's actually going to go ahead and say it doesn't want to play anymore and just start attacking the SCV instead. But good harassment, going to make sure that it loses only its shields on that for the second round of attack, so it does lose a few hit points on the first one. So Everize did win game number 1, so Noctis did choose this map, probably because of the comfortability that he does have with this particular case. Now, Everize and Noctis both went for a very standard and well-played game in the last round, where it was actually Everize going for a very solid Marine Marauder Viking play, medevacs, drops, while Noctis went for a very stable Robo and Gateway army composition with good expansion timing. So he did start with a 4-gate that did not really pay off, but he did an incredible job of recovering from a defended 4-gate, and the fact that he kept Everize's fast expansion inside his main base for so long. It was very impressive. So Noctis is going to go ahead and probably not do that again, as it was just so well handled on the last map. We'll see how he actually decides to approach this upcoming game. We are seeing him chrono boosting out this Stalker just enough. Looks like he really wants to get this SCV out of his base. He could actually utilize the probes and just dragged through them and just surrounded this SCV to kill it off. Looks like it's not going to be the case. Just going to go ahead and chrono boost that Warp Gate as well as this Stalker. Now, will Everize actually expect a 4-gate, judging by the fact that he saw the chrono boost on that Warp Gate, or will he just go ahead and play as if it's going to be a fast expand or something from the Protoss? We should probably be seeing him going for a single reactor and a tech lab on both these barracks after the initial 2 Marines. This is a very stable opener. We're actually seeing a 1-gate fast expand from Noctis, the exact opposite of a 4-gate. We're seeing a fast expand from Noctis, a play that I truly like. We are seeing him chrono boosting out this Warp Gate still, as opposed to attacking units, which is a very interesting thing. Now we'll see what Everize is actually planning on doing for his actually attack. Looks like he could be just going for a 2 racks fast expand, going to expand behind all these units that he's producing. May want to actually put a little bit of pressure on Noctis, and if he does, Noctis will be hard pressed to actually be able to defend this. So now we are seeing this Stalker to move up, and because there are no Marauders and custom shells or anything in this mix, he can easily just poke in with this Stalker and try and just take out a few of those units, or at least just damage them a little bit. But he's going to have to wait for his shields to recharge once more, as he has lost all of his shields. However, Everize is about to complete concussive shells. His Marauder is now out, so this could easily just really end Noctis' happiness in terms of the early game, and the fact that if he loses that first Stalker, it is going to be a very hard thing to come back from if Everize does decide to actually utilize that advantage to really put on a lot of pressure. But now we're seeing 2 Stalkers up, and that is exactly what Everize wants. He's now going to be able to... Oh, his Marines blocked the Marauder from getting off the hits to take out the second Stalker, but this is now going to be a hard spot for Noctis, as he does have this fast expansion, but he's building sentries. he's going to want to force field and get some zealots down there, but really, this small attack force is going to be worrisome for Noctis, as Noctis is really going to be hard-pressed to defend this. He needs to get more units out, but he only has 2 gateways and a robo out. He doesn't have very much unit-producing capabilities, and really, to lose that first Stalker is going to be shown to be a very, very hard spot in this position. We're seeing him warp in some more Zealots and Stalkers, but it looks like he might actually utilize his Pylon and Nexus to actually tank a little bit of damage from Everize's army, as Everize is even brought SUVs and is going to go ahead and start getting a bunker inside the base of Noctis, but Noctis might actually end up having to scrap this natural expansion as Everize is continuing to press the front, and this is such an unfortunate position for Noctis. He's got all of those probes. Looks like they actually might get sniped, yet Everize wants to kill off those probes. He will get this next, just a matter of time. Looks like Noctis might try and save this. He does have some units coming down onto the low ground. Doesn't want to get contained with the ramp, but Everize is now going to take out that sentry, and that is a big loss. Noctis' Nexus has officially gone down. Everize has shut down this 1-gate fastest band, and we are seeing an Immortal popping out for Noctis, but there are no force fields, so Everize can just continue to attack the front, and Immortal's about to pop out. It's going to try and target down the Marauder instantaneously, but will Everize actually start trying to take it out? This Immortal is an incredibly beefy unit for the early game. It's doing a great job of killing down the Marauders, but the problem is that it is now gone. We are seeing just a few Zealots and a Stalker out for Noctis, and Everize is continuing to bring in reinforcements to this attack, but it looks like Everize might be actually thwarted from this attack, as Noctis has gone ahead and now destroyed everything. However, do not think that was good for Noctis. Noctis is now very much far behind. 22 probes is very few to have, plus you've invested in this next expansion, and he did do a lot of damage in the fact that Everize's pressure did fail, but Everize has an orbital command that is now completed. He's about to have his own natural expansions now. He can just sit back and just wait a couple more minutes to macro up, and then just do a simple push and crush Noctis. Having your 1-gate fastest band destroy like this is a very, very tough spot. Now, Noctis might want to actually go for a 1-base all-in as a response, as that can be done if he decides to get out a few Immortals and then just warp in a lot of units, as many as he can. He could do damage. Everize, however, is looking to be very stable. He looks like he knows the possibility. Is getting a bunker and is going to try and actually defend this. Looks like he might. Stalker's being forcible back. This Stalker actually has 5 kills, so he's a mentor. Congrats to him. Now Everize looks like he's actually going to go ahead and go for another push with these units, as Noctis has re-put down the Nexus. Ooh, he's trying to get back into this game economically. The problem is that he doesn't really have that much of an army. 10 Marines and 5 Marauders is a lot to handle with only 2 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, and 2 Sentries. It's a very, very weak army from Noctis. He's trying to get some more units, but he's got to be able to realize the fact that this is a very tough competition. He might want to pull probes off initially before the engagement even begins, but he is trying to warp in a lot more units, but we're seeing good force fields going to prevent a lot of the micro from Everize, but it's just to say that he just goes directly around the force fields. So the force fields were good, but they were not good enough. He needed another sentry or 2 with a little bit more energy to actually have a hope of defeating this army, and it looks like Everize is going to go ahead and just continue to stim and destroy everything from Noctis. These Stalkers are going down. This Zealot gets miscued, and that will go down. It looks like these Stalkers are getting killed as they morph in, taking the double damage, and that will be GG. Noctis is now down 0-2 in a very similar position as VVV Hasu. So we'll see if he can actually come back from the 0-2 deficit in order to actually get back into this game. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to move on to game number 3 in a moment.